Breaking moves first, announcements later. Inside Allen Park, the tempo just changed. Front office phones are warm. Defensive cut-ups got re-tagged this afternoon. And the question that matters in October is finally on the board. How much is a single mismatch on the boundary worth when you're chasing January football? Welcome back to Lions News Fan Report. I'm laying out the full picture with no fluff. I'll show you why the staff circle corner as the lever that flips 2 close games before the bye. What the cap actually allows without strangling our extension plan. How the trade deadline calendar changes leverage. What the tape says about length and recovery speed in Aaron Glenn's match rules. And the exact give and take you sign up for if you add a long, fast, ball-skimming outside corner who can erase a window and still scare you in the run fit. I'm stacking timeline, scheme, cost, and impact, and I'm saving the name until the moment it actually makes sense. Because the headline only lands when the chessboard is set. Start with our identity. Detroit's defense wins with communication, violence at the catch point, and math on third down. We live in press man looks with match principles. Sprinkle trap 2 the bait throws, and ask our corners to survive on an island so the front can hunt. When it hums, Aiden Hutchinson squeezes pockets, the nickels pass off routes without panic, and the safety nails are on time. When it leaks, it's in one place. Long, late balls outside the numbers where length denies the throw, or it doesn't. That's why the room buzzed today. This isn't about a big-name splash. It's about fit. It's about a corner with skyscraper arms, true sprinter's recovery, and rookie-year tape that looked like a highlight reel of denial press, stride, turn, steal the football. The staff's question was simple. Could you buy that trait profile for the final? Stretch without breaking the room or the balance sheet. Zoom out to market reality. The trade deadline hits on November 4th, right after Vikings in Week 9, coming out of our Week 8 bye. That matters because deadline windows compress prices. Sellers decide quickly, buyers protect picks, and every club pretends their guy isn't available until a clean package hits the voicemail. Brad Holmes has already shown the scale he likes in season. A surgical move, mid-round capital, no mortgage, immediate upgrades that play in our language. He did it last year when injuries forced the front to add snap-ready help without destabilizing the cap. Expect that scale again. Nothing cute. Nothing desperate. Just a grown-up move if the player clears the 3 checkpoints: availability, affordability, and a role that travels into January. Now the tape. The profile we're talking about can line up outside, press with patience, mirror through the stem, and carry verticals without clutching. He's 6 PL US 4 with a condo wingspan. A legit burner's 40 that buys forgiveness when technique isn't perfect, and hands that find the football late. He wins when he stays square at the line, shoots the offhand jab, not the two-hand panic, opens his hips once and trusts the speed. He loses when the run comes right at him and he overpurses, when a receiver pins his outside shoulder and he forgets to replace inside, when tackling mechanics go loose and the angle dies. That's the trade. Elite eraser traits with tackling you coach every day. In our room, that's not a deal breaker. It's a plan. Teach strike zone, teach wrap, teach near hip target, and punish lows with reps. Cap and control matter. And I'm not sugarcoating it. The remaining 1-year number for this profile is in the mid-single millions. Call it 5 and change on the cap if you eat it clean. And every dollar we don't roll matters for internal business coming due. That's why the only version that makes sense for us is mid-round capital. Possibly a conditional that protects us on playtime availability, and no future dead strings that show up 2 Junes from now. The medical? Not nothing. There's a concussion recently that kept him out. You check protocol history, you make sure there's no pattern that spooks the docs. And you build a ramp that doesn't throw him into 60 snaps cold in Week 10. If the answers aren't right, you walk. If they're fine, you move. This is where I open the door. The name is Riq Woolen, and the reason I wait is because the context tells you exactly why this can work and exactly why it could burn you if you get sloppy. Woolen's rookie season was the kind of lightning you don't fake turnovers, speed on grass, arms like a storm. Since then, roles changed. The depth chart in Seattle got crowded, and the noise around a fresh start got louder. He's on an expiring number. The sense from the outside is there's not a long-term marriage brewing in the Pacific Northwest, and the player's desire for a reset is real. The fit with us is obvious. Detroit asks its corners to play tall and fast, steal throws at the sideline, and stay brave in one-on-one. Riq's tool set checks those boxes. The question isn't ceiling, it's floor. Can you trust him in the B-gap when teams test his edge? Can you live with the missed tackles you've seen on cut-ups and fix them before they lose you a drive? Can you keep the penalties away when he gets grabby at the top of routes? That's the job. Let me be clinical about cost, because that's how this front office thinks. A fifth plus a late swap is the home scale for in-season repairs. For a starting trades corner with expiring control, the sweet spot is probably a 2026 fourth that conditions down on snap count, or a 2025 five that conditions up on playoff starts. Players, Seattle would ask for a controllable depth piece. We don't touch the core. No parting with young pillars to rent a test drive. If you hold the line there, you can keep your extension plan clean for your own guys and still add a weapon. If the ass jumps to something reckless, you hang up and play your kids. Scheme fit with Aaron Glenn is the fun part. We play a lot of press match with quarters principles. Woolen's length lets you cheat your outside leverage and still recover on the post because he erases space with stride count, not panic. On 3rd and 7, you can sit him at 2 yards, mirror the release, ride the hip through the break, and trust your safety to cap. On 1st down, he gives you the courage to dare people outside, and that lets the front call edges with bad intentions. We also use trap to bait out breakers. His eyes are good enough to lurk the curl and take it if the quarterback is late. The ripple effect is real. Less help outside means more bodies in the box. More 2nd and 8, more 3rd and long, more tee-off downs for Hutchdot now to risk. In green ink, tackling. It's on the film. Misfits, angle busts, and some business decisions you rewire the minute he lands. That's not a tweet. That's coaching. You don't ask him to be Cam Chancellor. You ask him to be reliable, outside foot up, eyes on the near hip, strike through, clamp and roll. You pair him with a safety who talks, and you rep it until he's bored. If he buys in, the trait stack pays you every Sunday. If he doesn't, you sit him. The other risk is availability. Concussion protocol is not a vibe. It's science and patience. You follow it to the letter. The reward is January snaps, where his speed wins you a possession with one fingertip deflection that pulls 3 points off the board. Timeline is why this conversation is now. You have 2 games and a bye before the window closes. You either believe an outside corner steals you 8 points across November and December, or you don't. I do, if the player is. Woolen in the cost is sane. Because this version of the Lions is close game tough. We play grown man football at the line, and we don't need a magic trick. We need one more length speed piece that takes away a throw teams have been stealing against us when we're light in the cushion. You give Glenn that piece in late October, and by mid-November he's talking to his corners like a conductor again. Let me cut to the room. This is not fantasy. Detroit can afford the number. The compensation tier exists, and the role is defined. The staff would use him right away in a pitch count outside only. Boundary first, 3rd down packages, red zone fade eraser, occasional trap robber. Special teams? Only in emergencies. This is a defense move. If he stacks reliable run fits in practice, you grow the call sheet. If he doesn't, you keep him in the lane that wins you games. You race the go, steal the curl, take away the back shoulder. That's a useful lane in January. Here's my concise read after walking the whole road. Detroit has a real shot to buy high-leverage outside snaps at a manageable price if the medical and tackling plan are tight. Riq Woolen's length and speed match Aaron Glenn's ask, and the risk profile missed tackles and recent concussion can be managed with role clarity and coaching. I want your voice in this, Lions fans. Would you send a conditional 2026 fourth if it locks the boundary today? Do you prefer to sit tight, trust internal growth, and keep the picks? Which closing five do you trust in 2-minute defense if Woolen is active? Do you keep heavier personnel on or go nickel with a spy and dare teams outside? Drop your lineup and the exact coverage you call on 3rd and 9 with the game on the line. If you're riding with me through every twist Cap moves, minute patterns, and how this defense evolves snap by snap, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay here on Lions News Fan Report. We do the work, we keep it honest, and we chase trophies, not headlines.